So they did patch up the mailer for the dryer vents right there. After all, even though he said he wasn't going to touch it, I assume the other side's the same too. More importantly, I hope that y'all notice that everything has been pretty thoroughly re-cleaned. They did a really nice sweep in here. It's evident they did some touch up, whether it be on the caulking, along the fixtures and the faucets, and just the spouts inside of the bathrooms. But also, seems like they addressed every issue that we had brought to their attention yesterday or a couple days ago during the walkthrough on Thursday. So bottom line is, you're probably going to find something. I mean, that's really just the nature of like an imperfect world. You're probably going to find some stuff, but that's precisely what the 1-year guarantee is for, is if anything becomes evident only after the fact and not during the initial walk. That's why the builder's here to address it. Yeah, a lot of the debris and everything that was underneath these cabinets has since been removed as well. A couple of subtle finger smudges and little things like that. I mean, you're always bound to find something, taking a microscope to it, but it does look far better, in my opinion, than it appeared when we did the walk on Tuesday. Let's do a quick tour of these bedrooms and then get over to the master and the restrooms real quick, and then I'll hop over to the other side and do an identical little tour. The lights are already on that side. By the way, I got 2 keys per side. The locks have been changed, so it's not a master of any sort that the builder has his own copy of, or they're gonna do some shady stuff. But the locks have been changed, so you're free to make as many copies as you need to. Obviously, this is your place now. You do what you want. Or you delegate to the property management company to have them do whatever is necessary. It's about 75 in here right now. A little warm, but it's much cooler than it is outside. Holy shit. I hope that y'all arrive safely, by the way, in Fort Worth. I assume y'all have been there for a minute longer than this point. As of right now, it's a little after 6 p.m. and I did receive the documents, also the hard copies of all pertinent papers that you'd want to keep at the lower ready, just on your person at any given time. So I have a thick folder in addition to these keys, but like I said, just wanted to give you the peace of mind of knowing that they address these issues. You can readily tell that the caulking in the ceiling, the faucet knob and has been recaulked. I mean, just by the sheer color of it. When I shake it, it's also very, very sturdy. I mean, I don't see or notice anything that's wobbling in any way like it was before. But just keep an eye on it, because look, I mean, these things tend to like deteriorate over time. I mean, as does everything. I also wanted to take note of that chip in the tub in the master before I forget. Because I do remember us being puzzled about how they were going to fix that. It's kind of a strange problem to have, especially if the only option is to like trash the whole thing. But there's got to be a way to salvage it without making it look like ass. Yeah, the sun's out in full force right now. So then we get window dressings and covers on these windows, obviously the better. But they are just fine as is right now. And I'm assuming you haven't turned on the electricity in your name, so hey, you're not even paying for it right now yet. So nothing to worry about. The ceiling, as I showed y'all when I was out here on the same exact patio, over there in the corner where we were jumping up and down to see who had the highest vertical, that's been resealed and painted over to match. And this is going to be the moment of truth right here, matter of fact. Unless it was on, no, it was this side. That chip in the tub. I think it was, yep, that's it. So you'll probably see it yourselves too from this footage. I certainly can. Now, if I weren't looking for it, would I notice? I don't know. I really don't. But that was the first thing my eyes went to. And it's not the exact same hue of white. And there's a little bit of a rich in there. Now, whatever that is, seems pretty strong. It might just be some type of paint or enamel they put on there. And with a little bit of water, you might see it rub off. I'm not sure. But keep an eye on it. That's what the 1 year is for. But good to know is that these are sturdy, unlike they were cracked before, and the white sealant shows that that was just done. Remember the sealant around here, some of the cracks that had existed. All this looks really flush and dress right dress, so that's good. Closet. Some of the nooks and crannies we don't really get to see too often. Way up here, I can only reach so high, but I'm guessing there's not an issue. And then of course below. And then another shelf. Check one more thing in this room. I believe it was. Okay, yep. So these baseboards are attached firmly and painted. That door's flushed, looks really good. Back in here looks fine so far. Let's see. I think I was already in this room. Starting to repeat myself a little bit, possibly. But for good measure, this is going to be the conclusion pretty much of Unit B. You see, this is my side of these duplex dichotomies. I don't know, maybe it's a personality thing, or it's just a coincidence, but I never understood y'all A-side people over there on the left. I don't think I could ever go back and try something new, but maybe I'd be surprised. So I will say this, when I go back out the front door, there was one issue on the other side, on the left, that I noticed. It's subtle, it's cosmetic, it's not a problem. But while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the garage. Hey, Sergeant Finn, Mrs. Finn, one more thing. That insulation that kind of fell out whenever we pulled down the attic stairs, right when we first got here and started the inspection or the walkthrough on Tuesday. Yeah, that stuff's still here, so I guess someone just got lazy and fucking forgot to pick this stuff up. I can police it up though, it's not a problem. I may have a broom in my Jeep, I'm gonna have to go look, but just wanted to let y'all know that this is not indicative of the otherwise thorough cleanup that they did throughout the rest of the duplex on both sides, pretty uniformly. The one perhaps remaining problem that I just can't wrap my head around because it's so dumb in a sense, but might be an issue, is that seal on the garage, the outside. We'll figure it out one way or another. It shouldn't be that hard. It's not rocket surgery for sure. But without further ado, let me just point that out. So again, that's this guy. I mean, it's a noticeable gap. The closer I get, it's about a couple millimeters, but then there's some waves and inconsistencies that you see pop up in different places. And then if I take on a different angle, it might manifest itself completely differently too. And then there's that tuck that does whatever the hell it wants to up there. I'm just kind of not sure how it got to be that way, or if they tried to salvage a piece that was otherwise deficient. I'm not sure. But just for reference, if you look at the mirror side, it's on the outside, as you can see. That flap is fully on the outside, not tucked behind. And it's more or less flush, a little bit of a gap, but it's kind of how it's supposed to be. This side's probably the gold standard right here, unless you can't see it through that shadow, but yeah, it looks real tight and clean. Same with this side on the opposite end. Looks real good. It all just kind of depends. But hey, I'm gonna do a expedited walk through side A. Again, I'm not gonna leave anything out of the lens, but just to speed it up, since most of what I covered was redundant. Some of the things we talked about. So these items right here, these are mine. I brought these in. This is how they gave me the keys. So we had a bag inside of another bag. So we had B inside of the A Ziploc. That's all. And that's some more tape I brought in the event that I need to mark something. Worst case scenario, I said, let me go get some tape and get ready to pummel these guys because they skipped over stuff. But I'm surprised so far. I'll tell you what. But again, y'all will be the ones to notice anything or some tenants soon enough. We shall see. But it looks good in here. They definitely cleaned up really nicely. They mopped. Smells brand new. Smells great. I don't see a speck of anything so far. This is the door that had, before I forget, this is the door that had some cosmetic issues. So the closer you look, they may have dropped it, or maybe during transport from the manufacturer in China or wherever. We got some dings. And so you can see some like subtle globs of paint along the edge here. It's not noticeable, but you know, may catch your eye. But then there's also some areas where it's almost, well, it's peeling off. It's almost like a real thin rubbery film, almost as if like they didn't even paint it with the proper stuff that was designed to last. I'm not really sure, can't really speak to it, but if they tried to apply something to cover it up, they didn't do a very good job, or else maybe the door just has some cheap shit on it already. Either way, I mean, the base is gonna get messed up regardless because people's feet and all that, and animals, if you guys allow pets. I don't know if you do. Anyways, let's do a quick walk and wrap this up. Got shelving here in the living area, coming to the breakfast area. Everything looks just fine. Laundry, again, they patched this up to my surprise. In spite of what he said yesterday, I'm actually kind of flattered because I remember him telling you like, hey, nope, we ain't gonna do nothing about that. And then voila, they even painted it too, in addition to filling up the gap. Probably because he knew it looked like shit. Let's just be honest. He knew. Pantry. Nothing complicated about it, nor does it need to be. I think there was some residual trash that was in there too, but it's gone. And there was also a bunch of stuff in, let me get you a good angle of the kitchen first. In the cabinets below the sink, there was all that sawdust, if you recall. But they definitely got that stuff out. So it's all as clean as it should be. Boom. Same with all the specs that were all over these black appliances too. So yeah, it looked clean. Let's hit the 3 bedrooms just real quick. I remember there was a marking in here. I think it was in the closet. There was some, I think it was this baseboard that was falling off or something. Maybe it was the doorway, but there was something to do with the casing or the trim. Whatever it was, it looks like it's been cured. And yeah, this room looks good. Let me get behind this door real quick. Same thing with this door. The closer you look, you see, I don't know, maybe some flakes that had occurred, and they tried their best to go over it with just a little bit of white paint. Probably would never notice it if you weren't looking for it. So this window, they tried to wipe it off. It's just real smudgy still. Should just need a little bit of rain or something. It's good to go. Might rain this weekend, hopefully. So now onto the hall bath. Damn, already at 7 minutes. I talk too much. I'm surprised you don't tell me to be quiet more often. Uh, so, light fixtures all look good. Mirrors are spotless. Sealants, of course, the most important. Again, you see it's white is evidence. Reapplied just for good measure. Although I don't know if this one's loose. This one's sturdy. Shower head looks fine. This has all been touched up. I don't see any bubbles or holes in that crevice like before a couple days ago. Looks just good for now. Shelving, it's about as high as I can reach. And again, the other important thing about this, me just doing a quick walkthrough, is that for a new construction, I mean, worst case, if you were to have a disagreement with the builder in the near future during that 1 year, and there's a dispute over what the state of the place was, well, hey, look, this is some pretty thorough and irrefutable evidence that you can always just kind of hold on to. Keep it in your back pocket in case you should need it, but hopefully you never have to use it. Just something to think about. So here's the master on side B. And a little bit of mop markings on the tile, but it's clean otherwise though. It's not dusty or anything. It does look good. And that works just fine. Patio looks good. Yeah, and that sprinkler system, he said he was gonna leave there for a couple more weeks, until which time that they lay sod grass down on the couple of duplexes to the right of yours. So whenever it's time for them to do that, he'll shift the resources, and yours should be pretty well settled by then. So you shouldn't really need it. Or you can construct something like that yourself. It sure beats paying the money for an in-ground sprinkler system and just digging up everything that was just laid down and leveled out. Looks like they may have applied some more sealant around here, although I'm not sure. Either way, I don't see any cracks. I see a little bit here, maybe a little sloppy on the touch-up paint, but I mean, again, if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't notice it at all. Far less, at least, if it were still like a crack or a bubble of sorts. So, yeah, this side looks real good. Looks real good. Toilet. Again, brand new application here. Yes, I took my shoes off because of course I stepped in mud. Sometimes you just can't help it. No use in even trying anymore. Let's see. Everything looks clean in here too, for sure. And just a couple of these for sample size, arbitrarily. And this one, yep, looks good. Closet, last but not least, and I think we got one more bedroom just real quick across the way. A bit of plastic. It's like a damn Sour Patch Kids wrapper or some shit. Matter of fact, I might go buy some of that now. But it looks good in here, for sure. I think there was a little bit of scuff markings or some caulking that needed to be redone in here, and it looks like they took care of it, no doubt. Most importantly though, I'll tell you this, if things like that start to reappear and continue to reappear, same with this window, depending on the angle you're at, you can start to see a little bit of smudges around the edges. It's on the exterior and it'll come off with some rain or whatever, so no worries. Locked, good to go. What was I saying? Oh, so I have all these types of different caulking at my place just 2 miles away. If you should ever need any, rather than paying someone an arm and a leg, man, just give me a call, or I don't know, whatever the messaging app of the day is in Korea or something. I don't know what the property management company would charge a contractor to come over and do something simple like that. But hey man, even in the near future, before you PCS, If you need some assistance, man, I got the equipment and the materials. So just hit me up. Don't be a stranger. Again, a couple subtle smudges, but it's nothing crazy. This was the closet, alas. It had a baseboard. Yeah, the baseboard in the back there was, it was like just laying down. I don't know why, but it was. Matter of fact, see, look at the line of the tile right here. See how the wall kind of has a curve to it? I don't know how well you can make that out, but you're definitely gonna notice it when you get back. That might be something we need to ask about. It may not be a defect. Certainly it's not structural, but it's just, it's weird how this entire wall has like a pretty pronounced curve to it. Never seen that before. And it's not on the other side, so. But everything's good. I mean, that fence looks real clean. There's one thing I wanted to point out outside before we hang it up. And that is, so there's a little bit of trash that I've policed up. It looks like some already found its way walking back, you know, just leisurely. So there's some pieces of paper or some tags on each and every single one of these pickets. You know, all these pieces of wood that are vertical, they were sold individually, or at least they had the potential to be. So they all have, you can see here, there's a better angle. You see there's this little bitty stickers on each and every one of them, little barcodes, all the way around. Ridiculous. I don't know why they didn't take that off. It's not the end of the world, but it's just one more thing. It's kind of ridiculous. Here's some bubble wrap. And then lastly, this side of the house, because I hadn't gotten over here yet, but this will be the final side here of the perimeter. Everything else is covered, I believe. So that thing's working like a champ. And I believe all in all, it's as it should be. So I certainly hope you're happy with it, because it's yours. You're the one that bought it, not me, although I do kind of regret it. You know, just the other day we were talking about, damn, 214, 219, that's a ripoff. Well, this one was 226.9, and relatively speaking, that sounds like it was a deal that I should have taken. But can't live life looking in the rear view. So that's it for us here, man. Y'all have a good weekend. Drive safe during the same weekend, and then obviously on your way back. And I'll see you then. In the meantime, let me know if you need anything. Take care, man. Bye, ma'am.